Ooh, baby. First Man stars Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy and Jason Clarke and is directed by Damien Chazelle. First Man is a closer look into the life of legendary astronaut Neil Armstrong and the space mission that led him to be the first man to ever walk onto the moon. I gotta say, Chazelle has definitely been on a roll in recent years with hits like Whiplash and La La Land, two films which I absolutely adore, by the way. But I gotta say, going into First Man, I was a little apprehensive. And I was apprehensive for a few different reasons. One being that I thought the trailer was kind of okay. The second reason being that this is the first feature-length film that Chazelle is directing but hasn't written the screenplay for. And three, I felt that there's an element of suspense missing in the story given that we kind of know how things are going to pan out for Neil Armstrong in the end. Thankfully, I was completely off the mark, guys. This is one of the most gripping films I've seen this year. First Man is an absolute triumph. A lot of space dramas that we've seen in the past tend to take the approach of focusing solely on the space mission itself. And while First Man has some riveting action scenes, including an incredible opening for this film, Chazelle really opts for a different approach, and it's a fresh, bold approach where he focuses more on Neil and his family. And it's an approach that really works well here because he gets to explore a few things that we may not necessarily know about Neil or his family, and it pays off in a really big way in this film. Ryan Gosling for me is somebody who I've always been a huge fan of, and he always tends to bring his A game to whatever material he's working on, and he's usually a very subtle actor, and here his style works really well in playing Neil Armstrong. I actually think he's a really good casting choice, and he plays him very quiet, very introverted, hates being in the spotlight and hates giving press conferences and things like that. Equally as impressive is Claire Foy in this movie as Neil's distraught wife Janet, and here she brings incredible energy to the role, and they actually are great together on screen. They have great chemistry, the right amount of contrast for this to work. And as Neil becomes more detached after a tragedy in the family's life, Janet grows more distraught, you see, and it works really well. And a lot of the scenes that play out in the Armstrong family household are very, very powerful. First Man is also technically outstanding, guys. My gosh. The first half of this film really boasts a lot of great handheld camera work with a slight yellowish hue color grade, and it's also slightly faded, slightly out of focus, and along with some fine editing, it really creates the illusion that we're witnessing snapshots of a documentary from the 1960s. The space sequences in this film are also beautiful, gorgeous to absolutely look at, and Chazelle from time to time does pay great homage to Kubrick in 2001, as you would expect from a film like this. And there's a lot of contrast in a lot of the shots with really intense close-ups in the cockpit with the main characters, and also some gorgeous wide shots of the moon. And it just creates the illusion that you're actually really looking at the moon at this particular point in the film. And a lot of the brilliant photography is supported by an excellent score from Justin Hurwitz, who provides the score for this film, and he's also worked with Damien on some other projects as well, and he's a fantastic composer. This score is probably for me one of my favorite scores of 2018. All the action in this film is gripping, it's intense, and it's that engaging from time to time that I actually forgot that I was watching a true story on screen, and I actually thought from time to time Neil was not going to make it. But it's also got this really, really cool emotional core in this film. And I gotta say, the final moments, and particularly, I'd say the last 5-10 minutes of this film, really pack an emotional punch that I wasn't quite expecting. This is a film about a man who's trying his best to deal with grief. First Man has a really strong emotional core that I wasn't quite expecting. It boasts great performances, it's technically impressive, and it has one of the best scores that I've heard this year in 2018, making this one of the best films of the year. First Man easily gets 5 stars from me. Don't miss this one.
Control.
So guys, be sure to let me know what you thought of First Man in the comments below. And if you dug this review, don't forget to flick a like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell as well so you never miss a video update. More reviews coming soon, guys. And of course, don't forget, a weekend watching movies is a weekend well spent. Thanks for watching. First Man is a closer look into the legendary astronaut Neil Armstrong and the space mission that... Space mission? Control, we have a space mission.